welcome back once again off the mat with Coach CJ. I'm here with one of our world's athletes from Vengeance. Her name is Tate, and she's going to talk to us a little bit today about her journey through all-star cheerleading, how she got started, her first couple years, and then talk to us also about the transition she made from being top on a world's team to now a base on a world's team. And then just a little bit of conversation. Tate's part of our CIT program, and she has started this year to coach her own team, Mini Eden. And we actually just had our first competition for them on Saturday. So I would want to dig a little bit and see what it's like being on the other side of
It's definitely weird.
Cool. So tell me, I had the pleasure of actually coaching Tate on her first team, which was on our Youth 3 team a couple of years ago. And she came to us from the gymnastics world, correct?
Yes, I did. I've been doing gymnastics ever since I was little. And it's actually a funny story because my friend Mackenzie, we were in the same class. And at recess, she started teaching me all these like cool cheerleading moves. And I just thought it was really cool and I wanted to try it. So that's how I really got into it.
And Mackenzie's still on the same team with you?
Yes, me and Mackenzie have been really on the same team for every single year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just have kind of followed your way through. When you started on Genesis, it was a bit of an adjustment. I remember speaking with you and your mom about the level of commitment, and we actually talked about this on the weekend about how you were very concerned with not messing up your first year because you thought we were going to be...
Yeah, it's like hard because like gymnastics, it's all about like by yourself, and it's like it's all up to you really, but then you come to like a team sport and it's kind of hard to adjust because now it's like really like it's a team sport. It doesn't really matter if like one person messes up. It's kind of more of like everyone's got each other's back, and like it's hard to like adjust, but then I found it's like everyone is like okay, and the coaches are not going to yell at you if something isn't perfect. You just got to pick it back up and try again.
When you first started, you were, like I said, on a youth team, and you started as a base with us. At that time, you were, nice and fit and strong, like you still are. But at that point, it was like, sweet, we have this strong gymnast that we're gonna, do all this cool stuff with. As you made your way up through from youth and through junior and senior, you transitioned out of that role and into a topping role.
Yes, my first topping role was on senior 4, and that was after Genesis, where I crossed over from Wicked and senior 4. So that was my first time topping.
Awesome. And what was that like? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was actually really fun. But what I find is like topping is so much more mental than it is physical, whereas basing, it's a lot more of your physical than mental. So you kind of have to be more mentally strong to be a top. But it was really fun. It was a cool experience.
And you actually did some topping, I believe, at Worlds last season.
Yes, and I was a top on Senior 5 last year, and that was really cool. But it was kind of a big jump, like not even a big jump from level 4 to level 5, but just like everything's so different because it's like a Worlds level, and it's just like more elite stuff. So it was really cool to be on that team and be trying.
Okay, so talk to me about this year. So this year we come back, we get put on small senior 5 again, which is fantastic, in a completely different role.
Yeah, I based this year. I don't know. I kind of always love basing. It's just like so much more like fun. I mean, I love being on the ground and being that person who like the top can rely on to keep them calm. Because like my top, I've had her as a top for actually a while now. She's my first top on U3. And I don't know. I just love basing. It's just so much fun.
Cool. Would you say, or would you give any advice to athletes that are in that similar situation? Maybe they've been a top all the way through youth and junior. They get to senior, and all of a sudden they're asked to base. And for some people, that is a challenging transition. Mm-hmm. And it does go the other way. There are times where kids have based their whole time. They get up to a senior level or an open level, and all of a sudden they're asked to top. Is there any advice you have for young athletes that are kind of going through that transition?
I would say just try it. Like, I think that like the best thing you can do is just give it a shot. Don't just like be like, oh, but I've never done it before. Just try it because you never know. You might be like better at basing or topping, whichever way it is. But I think just trying it and you'll learn, and it's actually going to be really fun to say that you've done both roles. And it's like that's what coach is looking at, like in an athlete, that you can do different roles and that you will be willing to do anything. So.
Would you say that your time being a top has made you a better base?
I think so. I think learning from a top, you kind of know what to fix as like a base and like what feels better underneath the foot or something, and I think it just helps like keep your top calm too because you can give them corrections and it's coming from someone that has been a top in the previous, and I think it just helps the top understand more if you know kind of what you're talking about rather than like a base kind of that really hasn't had the more experience being a top trying to like correct their top.
So if you are kind of in that position where you're have been a top for a long time, or you are, you know, going through that transition and not sure like what the future holds. You know, as Tate just said, being open-minded to new positions is fantastic. And as a coach, we're always looking for athletes that are willing to be a back spot or a top or a base or a side base or satisfy really any role. Like as you said, it is a team sport, and kind of being versatile like that is really, really important.
Yeah, I think it is really important to be like that. And that's what coaches look for in a good athlete, and just someone that is open-minded and will do anything like for the team's benefit, and it will be great if you just try it. So
nice. Let's talk a little bit about your first couple of months now coaching.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love all these like little kids, and they're all so adorable, and they all have so much like spirit and passion for the sport, and it's like great to see little kids that are like that.
I know we talked a little on the weekend about, I asked you, you know, how was it being a coach sitting on the other side now, and what did you said about?
It's like stressful. It is really stressful. Like my coaches always tell us, they're like, once we get on the floor, all we can do is press play. And like you never really realize that until you're on the other side of the mat and you're like, okay, this is it. Like I can't do anything about it. Like you're sitting on the other side, and it's kind of weird, but it's also like you get to see from a coach's perspective on why they get so like stressed and like why they are like so like frantic and stuff like that. Because like it's weird. It's like
it's definitely different, and that's something that we hear from a lot of our CITs and our younger coaches. Is they're like, I don't know how you guys do it. It's so stressful. It's so stressful. And we always joke, yeah, well, you have one team right now. Now multiply that by, 20 teams and that same emotional roller coaster for every single one of them. So awesome. Anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Well, thanks again for hanging out with us. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of this talk today. Thank you so much to Tate for coming in.
No problem.
Kind of sharing her experience and her path through our gym. And hopefully you're still young. You still have many more years with us. But yeah, this is Tate. If you ever see her around the gym and you want to ask her anything about her transition from basing to topping and back to basing, or anything about the CIT program, I'm sure she'd be willing to chat with you.
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. And we will see you guys next week off the mat with Coach CJ. High five.